It's Monday the 25th of January. I'm just at the top of the Breezer Plain, sort of east of Lewis. Going to have a bit of a look at sorghum today. It's the first crop I've seen coming down onto the plain here. I've seen, like over the last few weeks, I've seen a few other crops much more advanced than this, you know, actually flowering at the moment, looking to colour up. This is quite immature compared to those crops, obviously. Anyway, I'll keep moving down the plain today and try and have a good look, a good cross section of the Liverpool Plains. Just opposite that field of sorghum we were looking at a second ago, and into a bit of skip row cotton here. This is something I do expect to see a lot of today. I've talked to a number of different growers over the last few weeks, and you know, some of these guys often sow or produce, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 tonne, and they're not producing any sorghum this year. They've gone all cotton, and from a pricing perspective, who can blame them? Anyway, I won't pull up and look at every cotton crop that we come across, but this is, yeah, this is probably the first and only one I'll have a decent look at. Anyway, I'll keep going and we'll have a good look at some sorghum. Still on the Breezer Plain, up the top of the Breezer Plain, just a little further south than where we were a moment ago. And I suppose this crop and the last crop of sorghum we looked at is a pretty good example of how far apart some of these plantings are on the plain this year. This stuff's got a number of heads in it that have turned and is ripe, and it's got a number of green heads in it too, so it's going to be a real pain to harvest this one. As you look across the field, it does sort of even up a little bit, but not a lot. Yield wise, it's not going to be anything spectacular, that's for sure. Anyway, I'll keep moving south and see what we come across. Just northeast of Spring Ridge at the moment. To tell you the truth, I haven't seen a lot of sorghum. I've been across a bit of the Breezer Plain and now heading down towards Spring Ridge and south of here. And a lot of cotton, but not a lot of sorghum, but just starting to come across a little bit now as I head further south. Trying to avoid this bit of a shower that's sort of between Lewis and Breezer at the moment. Anyway, this you can see it's pretty stressed in places. It's got very pointy leaves, just starting to throw a head up and flowering. Just here east of Spring Ridge still, near Karuna feedlot. Just a crop of sunflowers. Most of you haven't got a lot of interest in sunflowers probably. Looking for that storm that's probably about 5 k's behind it. I know we're down probably about 5 or 10 k's south of Pine Ridge, sort of near Windy Station, so to speak. This is pretty well representative of what the sorghum is that I've seen down through here. Just flowering now, struggling. Ground's not cracking here, but it is cracking in a few fields I've been in. So yeah, no bin busters again for 2016. I'll head a bit further south of here and then start heading west towards Prima. Just a bit further south of that field we were looking at there a little minute ago. So virtually east of Windy Station, I suppose you'd call it. Sort of getting into the willow tree area now. The sorghum looks a little better here. It's not as pointy as the stuff around Spring Ridge, and probably just a little bit better in the head, but it's what you'd normally expect to see around here. But not as good as what you would like to see around here. This is probably half the crop it normally is here. Anyway, we'll poke down into the valley a bit further and see what we see. Down on the plain from where we were a little minute ago. It's a lot better crop down here. It's yeah, it's struggling. You can see it's struggling. It's got a few pointy leaves about it, but generally speaking, it's not too bad. Probably not as good as what they're used to growing down here, but still all in all it's not a terrible crop given the season. I'm about Blackville, so about 20 odd k's I suppose west of where we were last field. There's some good sorghum between here and Willow Tree. It's looking a lot better in places, and then you get other crops that are stressing a little bit. The maturity level is probably about what we're looking at here, right across, so flowering. Really looking for a drink now. The ground here isn't cracking, but it's not far off it. I'll have a bit of a look around here and then head sort of west again, sort of towards the Prima Valley. But yeah, this is pretty well representative of what I've seen down the bottom of the plain so far, so well behind average, but you know, if it had a drink now it might, well actually I don't think it'd achieve average yields, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, just here at Prima now, probably 30 or 40 k's west of where we were last video. As I got through the Blackville area there, I did notice that a lot of sorghum planted there was late, so it wasn't sort of a 50-50 split late early. It's sort of more of a 60-40 split with more of the late sorghum in than the early, so it'll be interesting to see how it finishes. It really needs a drink if it's going to be flowering in the heat of summer. Anyway, back here at Prima now, and coming down the hill you sort of get a good look across the plain. There's not as much green down here as what there normally is, so there's probably a little less sorghum. I've seen a couple of fields of mung beans, so no sunflowers here that I've seen yet, but yeah, the sorghum's probably a little fewer acres than what it normally is, and yeah, as you can see, sort of just about to start flowering. Hopefully this bit of a storm out near Coonabarabran's going to come across here and drop 2 or 3 inches of rain tonight. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, just at Spring Ridge now, in a crop of sorghum. Obviously it's not great. It looks like it's a mix of finished flowering and still a few tillers flowering. It looks like there might have been a bit of spray drift or something in here, just looking at the leaves. Hard to say. Can't think of any other reason the leaves would do that. Haven't had much of a look through here just yet, but I think the crops around here went in a little earlier than the crops around Willow Tree and Prima, so probably just this little bit earlier. Anyway, I'll keep moving around the lake and pull up if I see anything worth having a look at. We're just down the road from where we were a second ago, so not too far away. Similar sort of maturity level, probably in a little bit better condition here, even on the headland. Still a lot shorter and not as larger heads as what you'd normally see around here, but a little bit better crop. I'll have a look at the one on the other side of the road. It doesn't look too bad either. We're about, I don't know, 50 metres away from where we were a second ago in another field. It's flowering. If I don't get out of here soon, I won't be able to stop